Did you know that there are four rule changes that are being proposed by college football executives? The first one has to do with prohibiting consecutive timeouts, like icing the kicker and so forth. Okay, no big deal. Then, how about no longer extending a first or third quarter for an on time down if the quarter ends on a defensive penalty? Okay, again, not that big of a deal. I mean, I could maybe see, but still. Well, how about this one? The clock will continue to run after an offense gains a first down, except for inside the final 2 minutes of the half. And if you don't like that one, you're not going to like the last one. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Toledo Rockets podcast. I'm your host, Brian Nowicki. Today's episode, I want to talk about these four proposed rule changes for college football for 2023. Again, these are just proposed. They have not been voted on yet. These got leaked here by Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger. And let's go right into the info here. College football executives are close to recommending several rule changes. Four, as a matter of fact, for the 2023 season. The first two, not too bad, but let's take a quick look at them. The first one, prohibiting consecutive timeouts. This would be like for icing kickers, that kind of thing, like, the end of the half, the end of the game, fourth quarter, that kind of thing, right? That one's not that bad, really. Yeah, I get it. You can, if you have all three timeouts left, let's say before the half, you can call a timeout. And right when the kicker's about to kick again, you call another timeout. Then you wait until he's about to kick again, then you call your third timeout, right? So that could, in some games at least, help speed the game up by a few minutes. In 2022, the games average 3 minutes or 3 hours and 21 minutes. They're looking to shorten that length a bit. And, that in some games could help by a couple minutes. Not a big change, but it could help some. And it's not anything really drastic. It's not too bad with that one. So let's look at the second proposal. No longer extending a first or third quarter for an on-time down if the quarter ends on a defensive penalty. The down would just be clocked at the start of the next quarter. So the start of the second quarter, the start of the fourth quarter. Okay. Again, an on-time down, you're looking at about a minute or so. Let's say something crazy happens and it happens in both the first and third quarters. You're getting about 2 minutes back in the game. Not a lot of time. It's not a big change. So it's probably not a big deal, but not a lot of time that you're going to get either. So you look at those first two proposals. Okay, I could really see doing both of those. They're not that they're not going to have that much of an effect to the game. And it's really not going to give you that much time, but it'll give you a little bit of time. So I can see those. They're okay. Now let's look at the third proposal. And this one could be a game changer, really. And this is pretty much what people are saying so far. The clock will continue to run after an offense gains a first down, except for inside the final 2 minutes of the half. Okay, so the NFL, the clock continues to run after first down, right? And they've tailored their game. They know that that's how it works. And the offensive coordinators, plan based on that. So it could work in college. It's a lot different. Right now you get a first down, the clock stops, they reset the chains, and then they start the clock again. And that's about the time that you snap the ball, right? When you're late in the game trying to run a 2-minute offense or late in the half. So it would change the game a bit. Again, yeah, I get it's sort of a game changer. So it changes the game a bit, but it's not a whole lot. And it's something that's definitely, you can get accustomed to it as an offensive coordinator in your offense, your quarterback in that. But you're also looking at college quarterbacks, not professional quarterbacks that are really experienced. And especially early on in this change, in the first couple of years, probably it's going to be a big adjustment and it's going to be a big game changer, I think, in that aspect. So if they do vote this rule change, it'll be pretty significant, in my opinion. And it'll be interesting to see exactly how teams are able to handle that one, right? But whether you're really whether you're against that one or not, wait until you hear the fourth proposal. The clock will continue to run after an incomplete pass once the ball is spotted for play. Okay. This really changes things, right? Right now in college and NFL, wherever, you have an incompleted pass, clock stops, clock doesn't start again until the ball is snapped. In this proposal, if it gets voted through, you have an incomplete pass, the official spots the ball, and the clock starts up again. This really changes things. First of all, it changes things for teams that are trying to score late in the game or late in the half. You already are looking at the potential that you're not going to have the clock stop for a first down until it's spotted, right? Now you got the incomplete pass thing to consider too. That's a pretty huge change, really is. And you know what it feels like? Both of these two proposals, proposal number 3 and proposal number 4, they both feel like the college football executives' idea of shortening the game is by literally shortening the game, the actual gameplay that's happening. They're going to shorten that instead of looking at things that they probably should try and short, like the amount of time it takes to do a review, the penalties, right, where you have the targeting rule and you have to review that, how long it takes to review the targeting. Sometimes it seems like forever. Those things need to be shortened. The number of commercials, TV timeouts, time that the game is stopped while TV's at a commercial. Sure, they're not going to change that because you know what? It's about money. And you've got these networks that are airing these games on TV. They're paying millions of dollars to these conferences and these teams to have their games on their network. And they need to pay the bills too. So they're going to have a bunch of commercials. So that's not going to change. If you want to change something, that's one of the things to consider, but they're not going to. But that's why a game lasts so long these days. Every single one of these games are on TV in some way, streaming, whatever, and there's commercials. And like I said before, you have targeting rules, targeting penalties where you have to review it. And sometimes those take forever, 5 minutes or more, of review of whether a play was a catch, whether it was a fumble, whatever, a touchdown, whatever, first down, all those reviews, that takes up a lot of time in a game. If you want to shorten the time that it takes to play a game, those are the things that need to be shortened. Sometimes those reviews take a really long time. And I get it. You want to get the play right. And you got to have those reviews because before we had review in the game, there were a lot of mistakes happening. So you want to have those reviews, but you got to limit the amount of time it's taking for some of those reviews. Some of those reviews are just taking way too long. And that's why the game is taking so long. 3 hours and 21 minutes for a game is because of things like that, the reviews, the extra time that you have because of commercials, the amount of time in between quarters, speed that up. The amount of time for timeouts, speed that up. Instead of a minute for a timeout, 30 seconds or 45 seconds. Coaches might not like that, but those kinds of things can be done. Don't change the amount of time that there is to play the game, right? You're going to take away the the time in the first downs you're talking about, right? If that goes into effect, or the clock continues to run after a first down, you're taking time away from the actual game because the clock starts running quicker than they're going to be ready to run the next play, especially if it was a 30-yard play downfield. Um, and then, the incomplete pass and then respotting the ball and having the clock start, that takes time away from the game. Before you know it, you're taking the actual time in the game away. Offenses are getting less plays through. Defenses are having to play a little less. Overall, you're changing the game. It's helping the defense play a little better. The defense starts taking over a little bit more in the game. You don't quite have as much scoring. You start to lose some of that excitement. Some people are watching college football because of the excitement and how much is happening in the game, how many points are being scored, how a team is able to move down the field so quickly. And you're going to take away some of that time that they can do that. Defenses aren't going to be as tired. Again, like I said, if there's less plays being run and what you're going with there, defenses aren't going to be as tired. They're going to be able to get in and make the plays quicker, better. So again, you're probably going to sacrifice offense a little bit with some of these changes they're talking about. And you're taking away some of the amount of time in the game, not the other things that fans are bored with, right? Waiting there for 5 minutes for a review of a play. Get that review done in a minute or 2 minutes. Waiting for the commercials. The amount of time it takes to go from one quarter to the next, it does not have to be that long because you have 10 commercials that have to run, right? Really, teams go from one side of the field to the other, kind of talk to their coaches or walking down to their side of the field, and we go again. I mean, this is college football. There are 85 scholarship players on these teams. You don't have to worry about them being tired because they only had a 30-second or a 1-minute break in between quarters instead of a 5-minute break. There's enough players that they can put in somebody for a couple of plays that wasn't getting to play before. And again, you do that and you don't take away from the actual time in the game. That's my opinion on it. And it'll be interesting to see what happens if any of these four proposals get voted in, but especially the last two, proposals 3 and 4, that really kind of make an impact to the game. So let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? If you disagree, why? What are your reasons for that, and so forth. And thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.